All right, protect yourself at all times. We are on it. Here we go. Ron Futrell with the latest Vegas sportscast for the Sunday morning. And we're at halftime of a pretty boring football game. Buffalo and Jacksonville, two teams that barely made the playoffs. For the Buffalo, first time in 17 years, they've made the playoffs. That game tied at 3 right now as we speak. So one of the teams will probably win the game, I guess, eventually. See if they. It's not great defense. It's bad offense, by the way, if you're wondering on that one. But, okay, today we have Vegas Golden Knights. A lot of stuff to talk about there. A big congrats to head coach Gerard Gallant to tell you about. Rebel basketball last night looks as miserable as they've looked right now in conference play. And losing to Utah State at home. And let's see, and we'll recap the games from yesterday in the NFL. So, start you out with the Vegas Golden Knights and what's happening there. They've got a game against the Rangers tonight at T-Mobile Arena. And the Knights are solid favorites, minus $1.75 in this at home against a pretty good Rangers team. But big favorites are the Golden Knights in this one. And it's the midway point of the season. It's going to be after tonight's game. They will have played 41 games. Play 82 games in the NHL season. So, midway point of the season. And by the way, the Knights have almost the entire week off. They play today. 6:30 start, by the way, for that game. Then, they've got, they don't play again until Saturday at home. So, they got a lot of time here kicking back in Vegas. So, that'll be sort of interesting. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare expected to be back. Well, he never left. He didn't go on the road trip because his wife had a baby. So, he back in the lineup for tonight's game. And congratulations in order to head coach Gerard Gallant has been named head coach of the Pacific Division in the NHL's All-Star Game. It's in Tampa later this month. Towards the end of this month is when they play the All-Star Game in Tampa. But congratulations to Gallant, and it goes because they have the best record in the Pacific Division. So he's the coach. How do you like that? I mean, who would have thunk? We could not have imagined any of this stuff to be happening that is happening. But it is. The Knights coming off that big win on Friday at Chicago against the Blackhawks, that 5-4 win. Just Riley Smith with a great unassisted goal with about 5 minutes left in the game. Stole a pass, took it the distance, slam dunk. The cradle, the rock, the jam, and got it done for the Golden Knights on Friday. So, see what they can do tonight against a decent Rangers team, not a great Rangers team. Now, the Knights did lose to the Rangers earlier this year, 6-4, in Madison Square Garden. So now playing here. And it is, I've said it before, but I'm going to repeat it, okay? It's phenomenal to think Vegas teams taking on and beating New York teams. This stuff happened. LA teams, Chicago teams, Detroit teams. Okay, that's a new phenomenon, and I know I'll get over it and I'll smile. But we're not taking on Albuquerque and Tucson anymore. You know, in those cities, and it does make a difference, different feel. So, Rebel basketball last night. Oh, geez, losing at home, down by 10 at halftime, at home to Utah State. Ended up losing by 6-7 points. It was disgusting. Here's the problem. Is this team now is 12-4, but in conference they are 1-2, and that one was an overtime win at San Jose, the worst team in the league, one of the worst teams in the country. Utah State is not very good. Rebels were favored by 9 going into this game, favored by 9, and they crumble. The problem is, I've said it before, I'll say it again, it's toughness in league play, and they are not. That's it, simple as that. They are just not tough. You can get away with it when you're playing a non-conference game against Southwest Tech State Marys. Okay, you can get away with it in those games, but in conference games, teams get tougher. Teams play with more motivation, more desire, and the Rebels don't have that. They don't have the toughness, the motivation, or the desire right now, and you got to make that happen. Got to get that there. Do they have the talent? Absolutely. That's what makes it all the worse. Is that they do have the talent. Last year, you could question they didn't have the talent. When they lost, for example, by 36 at home to Reno. But now this team is at the bottom, down there at the bottom of the Mountain West, in the bottom half of the Mountain West Conference right now. and did not see that as something happening, but it is. It's happening now, and Marvin Menzies, head coach, second year with the Rebels, got to do something about that. Got to do something about that. Okay, NFL stuff yesterday. First game was the collapse by Kansas City. The Kansas City collapse. Let's just call it that. Up by 18 points at halftime, 21-3. They end up losing 22-21 to a Tennessee team that I just shake my head and go, seriously? Really? You did? How did that happen? And it did. They end up losing. So, and then the Rams, okay, my NFL team, I wait 21 years to get them back in L.A., and then they make the playoffs in their second year, have the best offense in the league, and couldn't do a thing last night. Now, the big problem there against Atlanta, Rams lose to Atlanta in the wild card game, but biggest issue was 2 turnovers by special teams off punts. Punt the ball, drop the ball, lose the ball. Atlanta scores. Atlanta scored 10 points off those, and the Rams' offense couldn't perform. And without those 2 turnovers, it would have been a different game. Oh, absolutely would have been a different game, and Rams would have had a shot. They might have been able to win the thing. But with those 2 turnovers, that was it. In a low-scoring game as it was, that made all the difference. So there you go. Rams done. Sean McVay, get them ready for next year. See what happens. Okay, and I mentioned now the second half is just getting underway between Buffalo and Jacksonville, tied at 3 in that one. And barely a playoff game. I'm going to call it barely a playoff game. And then, let's see, later this evening, you've got, New Orleans should be able to win this game. They're favored heavy in their matchup. So, but at the same time, now the underdogs won 2 games yesterday. Okay, underdogs won both games yesterday. So, giving up the points was not the way to go at the sports books. It was taking the points right now. So we'll see what happens with that. Carolina playing at New Orleans later tonight. About that's going to be around a 1 o'clock start, 1:30 start in New Orleans with that. And in that one, the Saints at last check favored by about a touchdown in that. And let's see, what else? Anything else thrilling, exciting, incredible, or amazing going on in the world of sports? It is not a busy week this week in sports, not a crazy busy week. Rebels' next game is at Air Force on Wednesday. And like I said, the Vegas Golden Knights have a very light schedule this week. So it's going to be an interesting week, not what we've been used to of just bang, 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 every night something happens. And, tomorrow night, sort of a big one, the National Championship college football game. Alabama taking on Georgia Bulldogs, and Alabama favored by 4.5. I like Alabama. Roll Tide is my thoughts on this one. Just roll Tide. Go there and see what happens. We'll have more tomorrow. We'll talk about that a little bit more in depth tomorrow morning. Also talk about the game tonight with the Rangers and the Vegas Golden Knights going on at T-Mobile Arena. So see what the Golden Knights can do against the Rangers as solid favorites. By the way, in this one, I do like the over in points scored, total points, 5.5 is what I saw. It was 5 and got bet up to 5.5. Might be bet up to 6 by the time they drop the puck at 6:30 at T-Mobile Arena. But I'm taking another over in this one and hit the over last time. So with the Chicago game, I think both teams can score. Certainly the Knights can score. And Henrik Lundqvist, the goalie for the Rangers, that they're not going to have a problem doing. Again, their previous matchup was 10 goals were scored in that one, 6-4. Doesn't mean that's what's going to happen tonight. Expected Marc-Andre Fleury to be in the nets for the Knights. He played. Let's see. He played the first game. He played at St. Louis. And then it was Malcolm Subban who played at Chicago. So expecting Fleury in the nets tonight. And again, congrats to Turk, Gerard Gallant, coach of the Vegas Golden Knights, now being named as the head coach for the Pacific Division in the NHL All-Star Game. All right, that's it. Ron Futrell, that's the way I see it. Have yourself a nice Sunday, everybody. Bye for